Guys, it's another curly bob, so stay tuned. All right, you guessed it. Let's get started. So I'm starting currently on freshly shampooed and conditioned hair. I twisted her hair in these sections and placed her under the dryer just enough to get her dry, enough so that she's not dripping, but not completely dry. Now I'm going to go in with my blow dryer and go ahead and blow her out as straight as I could possibly get her. And the reason I placed her under the dryer first is just so that I'm not drying her from completely drenched hair. It makes the process a lot quicker, and it also gets the hair a lot straighter. So here's my braid pattern. Those are the little anchor braids that I did. I put weave on the first two braids, and then the rest of her hair I just braided as is. I am oiling her scalp and moisturizing her hair, and now I have her cap on. So I'm going to start right here in this lower back, and it's actually a little bit above the band that you can see on this cap. And I'm going to knot this about 3 or 4 times, sometimes 5 or 6 times, just enough to where I know that it is secure, because this is going to be my anchor. So as I get to the back, I'm making sure to stitch this pretty close. I don't want it too gappy. This is the hair that's underneath, and sometimes when clients are sleeping or their hair is on their headrest, that gets tangled. So you want to make sure that you have that stitched in there really well so that it does not come apart. I have now moved further up, and I've used the dark hair, which is this like a wet and wavy that I sell. I use a pack of that, or a bundle of that I should say, on her lower half, and I just went back and forth, and now I'm using the hair that I've already previously highlighted. I believe it was a 10-inch in the back, and this is a 12-inch that I am now installing, and I'm making certain to keep this very close to the hairline. As before, I'm going to make several knots here before I start moving on, and that's just again to make certain that the weft does not slip when she goes to comb it. Okay, so now I'm at the top, and I don't know if you can really see here, but I am literally laying this track right at the closure, not on top, but they are meeting, and she's actually facing towards your left in case you're like kind of confused. So I've now completed the stitching, and I'm going in and I'm making this cut, and usually I cut pretty early on before I get through with the sewing, but we weren't sure the length that we wanted to do, so I just completed the sewing first, and then we kind of determined the length afterwards. So we decided to go more so for, initially it was going to be an asymmetric and a little bit more longer in the front around the face. But later, as I got more into the cut, we ended up making it just kind of like this even bob, just a little bit below her chin. Now, when you're sectioning to cut the hair, you want to make certain if it's curly hair that you're not combing through it per se, just enough to kind of extend it out so that you can cut it, and you don't want to overstretch it. You want it to have its natural fall. As I get further to the top, again, I'm just thumbing through it with my fingers, and I'm just going to naturally cut it. I'm not going to stretch it and make it go beyond the hair that I previously cut. I just want it to fall very natural so that when I cut it and we add a little bit of product to it, it won't be too short or too long. Now on her sides, I do just a little bit differently. I'm going to add a few layers in here so the hair on the sides is not at one length. Usually if it's straight hair, you can do that if you want a very blunt bob, but we want a lot of texture and a little bit of movement with the hair. So I'm going in and I'm extending it away from her scalp. And this is going to give me the layers that I need without taking off any additional length. Now with a little bit of conditioner, a little foam, and some warm water, I'm spraying the hair down, and this is just to kind of revive the natural curl texture of the hair. And I'm just going to go through that. I'm trying not to oversaturate the hair. Sometimes I can be a little heavy-handed with it. And then I'm going to go in with my foam and just kind of scrunch the hair. This is just to give more definition and more texture. Usually I use mousse, but we didn't want it to be curly, more so than just a nice loose wave. So the foam helps weigh the hair down, whereas the mousse would have given it more definition and a lot more curl. So do not ask me where my diffuser was. I could not find it, or better yet, I just didn't take the time out to look for it. But I'm using my blow dryer in efforts for it to give me the same look that the diffuser would. And you can't really tell on here, but this blow dryer was blowing the hair instead of drying it. So it made it a hot frizzy mess, but we still worked it out on the end. So right now I'm actually going in the part that I've created and I'm tweezing it, and this is just to make it more defined for her, so that if she does any shampooing or styling for herself, she doesn't have a hard time relocating that part. And this is just a better view, if you can see here. So after I finished tweezing her part, I put her back under the dryer just to kind of diffuse the hair and so it wasn't so big and poofy. And then we actually went back in and cut it a little shorter, and this was the finished look. Thanks for watching.